Hey Anne, have you heard about the new earthquake discovery?
No, tell me more.
It's groundbreaking.
Just like this PSA, welcome to Seattle Earthquake Safety. Earthquakes occur at tectonic plate boundaries when stress overcomes friction between two plates and generates seismic waves, which are responsible for most of the damage. This can occur in trenches, which is where you'll be if you're in Seattle when the big one hits. At convergent boundaries like subduction zones, earthquakes are deep and powerful. At divergent boundaries, earthquakes are more shallow and much less powerful, just like the Wisconsin football team this season. Finally, earthquakes at transform boundaries are shallow but powerful. The Cascadia subduction zone stretches from British Columbia to California and occurs where the Juan de Fuca plate is subducted beneath the North American continent. Talk about being under a lot of pressure. The last large earthquake along the zone occurred in January of 1700, and the recurrence interval is around 400 600 years. Tough luck if you're a Seattleite.
Wait, Anne, don't we live in Seattle?
Oops, I forgot. Anyway, the large and frequent earthquakes and a lack of smaller slips suggest the CSC may be very strongly locked. So if the ground starts shaking, we all know who's at fault.
There are three types of earthquakes that occur in the Seattle area, so you may be wondering which is most likely to occur and which affects Seattleites the most. The greatest risk to Seattleites is the Seattle Fault, which spans the city from east to west. This is also called crustal or shallow earthquake, and they occur between 0 to 30 kilometers underneath the North American plate's long faults. These quakes cause severe shaking near the epicenter but are short-lived. Shallow quakes that have an average magnitude of 7 and below but can reach up to 7.5.
Hey Maria, what did the shallow quake say to the mega thrust quake following a 9.0 magnitude earthquake?
What?
Just because I'm the Seattle Fault, it doesn't mean this one's on me.
Good one. As Andis informed us, Seattleites should also watch out for a megathrust or subduction earthquake as they are the greatest risk for the Puget Sound area as a whole. They take place in the Cascadia subduction zone and they can reach a magnitude of 9.0 or more. These quakes typically are less intense than a shallow quake but last longer. The final type of earthquake, interplate or deep quakes, are the most common large earthquake in the Puget Sound. Since 1900, there have been 5 deep quakes in the area with magnitudes of 6.0 and larger. They occur when oceanic crusts converge under continental crusts between 30 to 70 kilometers below the surface. Due to the depth, the shaking at the epicenter tends to be less severe. After all this information, you're probably dying to know how to stay safe if an earthquake were to hit.
Short-term, large-scale earthquakes could cause a tsunami and landslides, as well as fires from downed power lines. Further debris disturbed by the quake could injure people and create hazards. Long-term effects include prolonged loss of power, road closures, destruction of infrastructure, lack of running water, job and income losses, lack of shelter, and displaced households. If you're unlucky enough to be in Seattle when an earthquake hits, the only thing to do is hide under a table and cry.
Ingrid, you're telling us the two people who live there. There has to be more we can do.
Well, to be the most prepared, you should create a store of emergency supplies such as non-perishable food, water, and other necessities. Further, create a safety plan to be prepared for the occurrence of a quake. Earthquake-proof your house by bolting down furniture, moving heavy items off of high shelves, and securing your house to its foundation. During the earthquake, shelter in a secure place, stay away from windows and heavy objects, and do not use elevators. If you're outside, stay away from risks such as power lines or large buildings. Finally, create a plan for after the earthquake. Know what roads, services, and infrastructure may be impacted. In conclusion, when the ground gets to shaken, the earth is quaking.